Good morning to everybody. My name is Robert Scott. I'm the Commissioner of Education from the Texas Education Agency, and I want to thank you all for taking time to join Governor Perry and I this morning. I know we're winding up the end of a very successful school year. It's been certainly one for the record books, starting back in the fall with Hurricane Ike and certainly off into the spring with pandemic flu sweeping across our state and nation and world. And I know you all have spent a great deal of time chronicling those stories as well as stories that are occurring in your schools and communities. And as you end up this school year, we wanted to give you an opportunity to have some time to address some of the issues facing our state and nation. And I hope that as you end up this school year, you're putting together your summer reading list so you have an opportunity to continue to expand your mind during the summer months. I know I'll be doing that. A little housekeeping before we begin. If you'd like to ask a question, please press *1 and we will put you in queue to ask your question. And I also want to thank Jeannie Acton from UIL for helping get the word out about today's conference call. And with that, I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce certainly a very good friend of mine and a good friend of our public schools, and that's the Governor of the great state of Texas, the Honorable Rick Perry.
Commissioner, thank you, and I want to say thanks also to UIL. I'm sorry about the little mix-up there at the front end about the 800 versus 877 number, but I think we got it all straightened out. So anyway, it's if that's the least of our problems today, we're way ahead of the curve. So and Robert, thank you again just for what you do over at TEA and your focus on improving quality education in Texas. You know, if let me just go back and touch on a little bit of the technical part of what we're doing here today. Any of our callers want to get in line and ask a question, just hit *1 on your phone right now and the operator will help you get ready. And let me just welcome everybody on the call today. Congratulate you for your involvement with the life of your schools. I mean, when you think about all the things that happen in the course of a school year, you know, football games, pep rallies, to standardized testing, to Christmas breaks, and your schools are really blessed to have those of you capturing all of those events. I can promise you in 20 or 30 years from now, you'll look back on those and you'll be so glad that, or actually your classmates are the ones that will really be glad that you captured all of those moments. And time that you spend on your school newspapers is great preparation for life as well. It sharpens your senses as you observe what's going on around you. It allows you to hone those skills as a writer, as a reporter. Helps you better understand what really is important to the people of your community, for instance. And doing all these things in the course of an extracurricular activity probably helps even more today because you're developing your time management skills as well. My daughter was involved in that when she was over at Austin High and worked on the school journalism programs and so you know it's really great when you think about what you're learning. You know, it used to be you had to look a citizen in the eye and tell them what you thought, or tell a reporter, cross your fingers that that message got out more or less intact the way you said it. But nowadays, for instance, I can communicate directly through the internet, and you know, and not just through my great-looking website. I mean, it's really amazing how we can communicate today. For example, as we speak, I'm taking a picture of myself and Commissioner Scott here, and been on the BlackBerry now, and I'm fixing to post it on Twitter. So you're gonna see the picture that I just handed over to Robert or to Andrew, and he took our picture, and we're gonna put it on Twitter. And as a matter of fact, if you're not following me on Twitter, my handle is Governor Perry, just regular spelling, no blank in there, and one word. Matter of fact, if go there right now. And the first one of you students who send back @reply on Twitter, I'm going to sign a book for you, and one of the books that I've written on Boy Scouts called On My Honor. And before this call ends, I'll let you know who that is. So anyway, just go to Governor Perry on Twitter and hit @reply and we'll get right back to you. You know, and it's that kind of immediate communication that's an example about how the rules are changing. And I think your generation in particular is you're leading the charge here. You're more than ready to navigate this new landscape and use all the resources that are available. And these changes not only make the media business more competitive, they also challenge the media outlets that are there today, the traditional media, if you will, to balance the need for speed with the principles of journalistic integrity. Fortunately, the vast majority of folks who end up pursuing a career in the press are driven by the desire to make the world a better place, not see their name in print or their face on TV, or for that matter, to make a big salary. That's not why most people get into that business. That desire actually makes you a lot like the folks who serve here in our state and the legislature. As you know, we're in the final days of the 81st legislative session, and your elected representatives are here hashing out some pretty important issues, and the vast majority of those individuals are there with the goal of improving our state. And because this is America and Texas, we have the freedom to disagree on how that happens, but I truly believe that our representative form of government is still the absolute best in the world. Right now, there are bills that will directly affect public schools in Texas that are being roundly debated, and as far as I'm concerned, I just want them to make sure that students like you are getting the best possible education, so that when you graduate from high school, you're ready for that next step in life. You know, whether it's a 4-year institution or going to one of our great community colleges, a tech school, you may directly, I told folks, I said, Peace Corps or Marine Corps, just find that place in life that you're prepared for. Or you may, directly be going into the workforce. We need to make sure that you're ready to compete. And I think that happens when we hold our schools accountable for students' progress. We keep offering merit pay for our best teachers and find ways to cut down on the dropout rate. Our high schools are essential proving ground in life. And we need to ensure that in Texas, it continues to serve as a launching pad for future success. So, Robert, Commissioner Scott, I'm going to open it up to some questions that these next generation of leaders are going to have. So if you have one, as I said earlier, press *1 on your phone and we'll get this get this rolling. So operator, let me hand it over to you, and you can kind of work your magic and get the kids in the queue.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, in order to ask a question, please press *1 on your telephone keypad. Please hold for your first question. Your first question comes from Angel Amon from Stephenville High in Stephenville. Angel, you may go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Governor, you talked about how Texas has a high dropout rate, and what exactly are your plans to decrease these rates?
Well, it's really interesting you brought that up, because we've been working very hard on this for the last several years. And the first thing was to make sure that we had a definition that allowed us to compare our rates to other states across the country, and then forget about that definition and let's really address why kids drop out of school. You can be at risk of dropping out of school for 13 different reasons in the education code, but if you talk to people who drop out, they drop out because they feel like they don't belong, they get behind in their credits, they've got to work or take care of family. So we've instituted programs that help us end those excuses and provide flexible schedules, online learning opportunities, and the support students need to make sure they can get a high school diploma if they have other needs in their lives. And we've been working really hard on that through the Texas High School Project and with our legislators on a number of bills, so that students have that opportunity to graduate.
Hey, Robert, let me just kind of bounce in here too. This is Rick Perry, and that was, of course, Robert Scott, our Commissioner of Education. The other side of it is there's been this myth out there in some communities and some ethnic groups that maybe some kid from a very rural area whose parents are both tenant farmers, and they think they can't afford to go on to college. And so, why would I stick around and go through a couple more years of high school because I want to get out and get in the workforce? I can't afford to go to college. And that's what we're trying to really penetrate through, Angel, is to share with them that there are a lot of financial aid programs in the state. As a matter of fact, we're expanding the Texas Grant Program, where kids who maybe a decade ago couldn't afford to go to college, but we got that Texas Grant Program out there. We got a lot of other financial aid programs. And so, kill that myth that you can afford to go to college. Now, maybe your folks couldn't afford to pay it, but those financial aid programs are out there. And I think that's one of the things that we've done to really help in Texas. So there's a couple of good examples, Angel, of what we got going on in the state. Next question.